reading culture and information literacy. But my colleague will take you on information literacy, how you can utilize your gadget, your iPhone as well, searching for information rather than watching YouTube. But my own responsibility here is to inject on you guys the concept of reading culture. Because at the 21st century now, most of our students are finding it difficult to have the passion for reading. Today, by God's grace, I would like all of you should have your pen and your book in case you jot whenever I say something very important. And I'm requested that all of you should keep quiet and just listen to what I will say. Are you ready? Stop making noise. Just listen, please. You are making noise. So can I continue? Yes, okay. We are going to look at the concept of student. Who is a student? Then what is reading? Forms of reading. Then why are we not reading? And reasons that students give for not reading. Then factors that obstruct us from reading. That obstruct students, that stop students from reading. We are also going to look at factors that motivate students to read. Then we'll look at the art of reading, skills involved in reading. Then conclusion. Can I start? So, to begin with, success has a formula and every superstructure has a solid start with laying a solid foundation. A student's success is largely determined by how well he reads, how sincere he manages his time. Students and youth alike have over the years walked the dangerous road of laziness or poor reading culture and bad time management. This more often than not lead to a wild goose chase, loss of focus and misdirection of goal. Some spaciously adhere to the conviction that there is always a shortcut to success, forgetting a little truth that there is no prize without price. Reading culture and time management are two basic ingredients that are unavoidable for success. It is wisely asserted that every reader is a potential leader, and a good time manager is a success-born leader. According to Mark Twain, the man who does not read books has no advantage over the man that does not read books. Reading is not just an important professional skill, it is also a way to enjoy informative, creative, and inspiring work of literature that enrich our life experience. It is, however, a lifelong source of enjoyment and entertainment and an affordable hobby for anyone who wants to read. With this brief introduction, we are going to look at the concept of what? Student. But with this introduction, you'll be able to know that whenever you do not read, there's no difference between you who can read while you are not reading with those that cannot read. Did you understand? So with this brief introduction again, reading will enable you can only rule the world. You can be a leader when you read. And you open your brain more broad as long as you continue reading. So, who is a student? Who is a student? You see, the term student is derived from those studere, which means to study. Simply means when you are not studying, you are not what? You are not a student. And for you to study, you have to what? You need to read. Did you understand? So a student can simply be defined as anybody who is seeking to learn, is seeking for knowledge or experience. So what is reading? What is reading? They say reading is an interactive process. That is, the reader interacts with the text. It's an interactive process between the reader and the message conveyed on the text. So now, when we say text now, simply means any book, and book here simply means anything that contains information. It can be a wall, a chart, a drawing. Anything that contains information here simply means what? A book. So when you are trying to decode mentally with any information that is present in a textbook anywhere, you are reading. Then we are going to look at forms of reading. We have various forms of reading. Some people read to get specific information, while others read for general information. For example, you might be searching for a name of a footballer. Did you understand? Or your teacher might give you an assignment. that you are seeking in professional level. When you are reading for a specific purpose, we said information seeking. When you want to seek for information for a specific goal, to attain a specific goal, it's called information seeking. But if you are just reading maybe newspaper to watch a football, we call it information search. But all this comes as a result of what information need. Did you understand? Because at the first stage, your teacher might ask you, what is biology? And maybe you don't know what is the meaning of biology. You need to seek for information. Then this seeking for information to attain your goal is to look for the answer of biology. Now you are doing what? Information seeking. But if you are just watching newspaper, watching news, reading newspaper, you are not reading for a specific purpose, rather for general purpose. It's called information search. But all this comes as a result of what? Information need. But in searching, you use both electronic and what? Books. Then why are we not reading? It is true that over 50% of students today cannot sit down to read for 30 minutes. Yet they can sit for hundreds of hours in front of a television watching a program that may not be educative. Such students are everywhere. They will take the same standard examination together with the very few who have gotten hold of the art of reading and have committed themselves to a productive reading habit. Yet want to obtain the same result. This is indeed a mirage or a fluke. When you don't read, some students can sit countless of hours watching movies, football, playing, but they can't sit for 20 minutes to read. And at the end of the day, they want to attain the same result with their colleague that have sat down and read. This is, even though you attain the result, it's just a mirage. It's not a fluke. And do you know what's a mirage? What's a fluke? A mirage means illusion. Fluke, something that might not just come by accident. Maybe at the end of the day, you might write your exam. Maybe you don't used to read, but you write work and you pass. Maybe by copying or so on. But can you defend your result? Can you defend it? When you have A in mathematics, can you defend it? When you have A in physics, so you need to read. You need to read. So we are going to look at some reasons why students give for not reading. There are some certain reasons why students give for not reading. When I say, why are you not reading? Some students will say, I find it difficult to read with an empty stomach. Why others will say, I just find it difficult to read for more than 20 minutes. Others will say, I don't really understand wherever I read. Some will say, my domestic chores take a lot of my time. Do you know what's a domestic chores? Yes. Domestic tasks and so on. Then some will say, I prefer reading when examination are around the corner. While others will say, I assist my parents in their business, after which I will have no time for reading. Some will say, my teacher doesn't encourage me to read, while others will say, reading is boring. But mind you, when you have made a strategy for reading, you plan for reading, and you started equipping yourself into reading, you find out that reading is very enjoying. It's an entertainment. That is why we and our colleagues, sometimes when we are feeling hungry, we read. When you're hostel, you don't have food to eat, you read. Because it's something, it's an enjoyment. So just make sure that every day, at least a day, you have to read your book, even though it's a line. Just make sure that you read every day. Just read, even though it's for how many. Just read. Don't wait till exam or so on. So, factor that stops students from reading. Number one is laziness. Many students are lazy. That is why they don't read. Some will say, you see, you are watching film for 4 hours, but when you just hold your book, you want to start reading, you start sleeping. If I can remember, during my NC, there are those times when I sit and read, I start sleeping. What I did at that time, because I know that I have to read. But why is it that whenever I want to read, I'll start sleeping? Why? So what I did then to overcome this problem, I used to stand up. When I sit, I start reading, then sleep will come there, I will just stand up. Then I'll start reading, watching. I'll be reading, watching. So when I'm tired, I'll keep the book, I'll stroll and come back, I'll continue reading again. So I start reading standing, because I know when I sit, sleep will come. That's what I did. But now I can read even sitting or standing. Then, here are some qualities of a lazy student. There are qualities of a lazy student. A lazy student cannot be taught. He is not eager to learn. Any student who is not eager to learn is a lazy student. He is wishful thinker. always thinking of what you want to become, but not doing anything to actualize it. A lazy student is someone who will just think, will be wishful thinking. You'll be thinking, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a general, I want to be an engineer. What have you been doing to attain your goal? Have you started reading? Have you started reading? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. If you want to be a doctor, then you are a science student in SS3 or SS1. What have you been doing to become a science student? To become a doctor? What of your physics, your chemistry, your mathematics, your English study? What have you been doing? These 5 basic subjects, you need to start reading them. Prepare for that. Don't be a wishful thinker. Always you want to think. As you think, start doing it. So don't say, I want to be an engineer. What have you been doing to attain your goal? These are things that you need to look. Then, a lazy student, he always gives absurd excuse for laziness, idleness. He hates work of any kind. When you give him assignment, you don't do. Your teacher will give assignment, you don't do. You hate work. When your teacher said, stand up, do this assignment, you say, Kai, this teacher is disturbing me. You are so lazy. Why? You have to wake up. You are a student, you need to wake up. Then, he loves excessive sleep. A lazy student loves excessive sleep. Always you sleep. In the class you sleep, at home you sleep, everywhere you sleep. And in fact, sleep is your hobby. When they ask what's your hobby, you say sleeping. And a lazy student, he is always irritating, arrogant, having nothing new to offer. A lazy student is always arrogant. When your teacher said, come, you just be shaking your head. You are a lazy student. You don't learn anything. When you are arrogant, you don't learn. So this is a quality of what? Of a lazy student. You may be in the habit of putting off your study time until a few days before your exam. You assure yourself that you can cram or understand easily while reading. But with time, you will discover that you are finding it difficult to read at all. This is a habit and a slow killer of your academic life. Reading is a habit which, when formed early, will be difficult to break. So don't wait till exam. Don't say, no, when exam is approaching, I'll just cram everything. No. You will kill yourself. You will kill yourself academically. So what you should do now, at least tell yourself that today, by God's grace, before I sleep, or I will make a timetable for myself, that every day, at least, I will read for 20 minutes or 10 minutes. Every day I will read. Start from today. Are you ready? Are you going to start reading from today? Are you ready? So this is what you should do. So, because there is no time, so we are going to, then the other factor that stop students from reading are peer group pressure and wrong friends. If you observe that your friend don't have reading culture, don't used to say, Abigail, let's go and read now. Or Muhammad, if you have those kind of friends that always like playing, they don't encourage you to read, what you should do, try to inject reading culture into them. But if you find that after trying to tell them that let's go and read, but still they are pulling you back, because there's what called push factor. If they are pulling you back, I will advise to leave that friend, such friend, and look for another friend that likes reading. Because these are the causes of our failure. Our friends can make you fail. And with time, after your secondary school, you find that at university you don't even meet. Maybe you who will dispatch, you'll be in this university, and your friend have already killed you. And do not be intimidated by your friend. Don't follow what your friend wants you to do, unless if that is the right thing to do. Did you understand what I'm saying? Then, films and video home video. These are things that obstruct us from reading. Films. Most of you like watching season film. Season film that you do 12 months watching. You don't like reading. You go to video, home video, and so on. During football match, you watch every football match, you know it. So these are the problems that obstruct you from reading. Then we have emphasis on paper qualifications. Our parents and government must make more emphasis on our result rather than what is up here. They don't make more emphasis on what we know. When you just, as far as you have 9 credits in YF, 8 credits, that's all for them. But they will not ask you, you have 10 physics, can you defend, after your term exam, can you defend your 9 credits? Did you know it? Our parents and our teachers and government should have been asking us, verbal interview, let's talk. Do we really know it rather than passing? At the end of the day, you have some of our parents will say, do you have blue pen or red pen in your exam? But they don't know what is here. So, emphasis on paper qualification. Then factors that motivate reading. Some factors that will make you to read. 1, belief system. You should have belief system. Belief system here simply means you have certainty. You should believe that you want to attain this and then go for it. certainty about something. That's belief system. Did you believe that you are going to pass? Then start reading. Then we have your passion. Passion. You should have passion on what you want to do. Then passion here simply means is the fuel behind every effort. Passion will make you to have ginger on what you want to do. So have passion for reading. Then you start reading. Then make business reading your business. They said reading gives information wherever, whenever, and however, according to Prozac. Then goals and aspiration. You should have goal and aspiration. Did you not say goal? What you want to attain at the end of everything. Then these are things, when you know your goal, then you would like to achieve it. Then we have discipline. You need to discipline yourself. Don't like laziness and so on. Don't be so lazy. You understand? You have to discipline yourself. If you have already attained that, I'm going to read 10 minutes, 20 minutes every day. Make sure that you have to read. Discipline yourself. Even though you don't want to read, you have to ginger yourself to read. Then, the art of reading. We are going to look at the art of reading. Skills involved in reading. What are those skills you have in reading? Number one, you have to sit down and plan. Sit down and plan. Now, in sitting down and plan, there are components of planning. Assess yourself. The first component of planning, you will have to assess yourself. Assess yourself in the sense that you know God created, there's what's called individual differences. God created us differently. We have average student, above average student, and below average student. Then you have to assess yourself. Am I an average student? Am I above average student? Am I below average student? So if you are below average student, what you should do is that maybe your friend is above average, then you are below average. Then if your friend used to read once a day, for you to meet up, catch up with you, you have to read 3 times a day. So you are not the same. He's more than you. He's above average. Then for you to meet up with him, you have to read double time to catch up with him. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then we have assess your subject. Your subject. The second component is in planning. Now you assess your subject. Now, and in assessing your subject, there is what we call individual differences again. Now, in assessing your subject, now what you should do is that there is some subjects that are difficult than others. Is that not so? So if you know that you can solve maths very well and you cannot solve physics, then you should know that you allocate more time on physics rather than mathematics. But if your friend have difficulty in mathematics, and you should not copy your friend, assess yourself, your own subject that is more difficult for you. Don't copy. So now, the other, you study your academic environment. You study your academic environment. Study your academic environment, then make a timetable. You should make a timetable. In planning, you make what? A timetable. Now, if I can remember, my sister that during her secondary school sometime, she will sit and make a timetable. She will make a timetable. In that timetable, you will now place it in your room, anywhere. Then that timetable will now be, you allocate time that from slow time, Saturday and Sunday, slow time I will read mathematics, physics, chemistry, slow time. Then I will go to the market, my friend. So you have to allocate, you make a timetable and you place it where you can see at a glance. Did you understand? Then, having talking everything now, there are those who will surely not read. Look at the example of those who will surely not read. Even though no matter how they will not still read. They say, why some people are already getting motivated toward reading as they identify their inadequacy and they are constantly making up their mind to tackle them. There are others who have not been moved so far. They feel it is not for them because they have got no time to sit down to read. The following are some of those who surely not read. 1. The cultists. The cultism. Do you know what's cultism? So, according to me, I define cultism as any illegal activity you engage yourself. If you reach 2, as far as from 2 and above, if you reach group in this school, you are disturbing your teachers. You are a cultist. If you reach group, any illegal activity you display in your community that is not accepted, and you are more than 2, it's a cultist. So, if you form a cultist, you will not read. Then, party girls and guys. If you are a party girl and guys, you will not surely read. Bigger boys and happening babes. Bigger boys and happening babes. Bigger boys and happening babes will not read because they are so on fashion. They are so materialistic. They know everything that is in every new thing. They know the new shoe, new video, new, but they will not have time for reading. Then, in conclusion, you cannot understand or own up certainty what you have not read. A student who attends lecture and fails to review what he was taught in the class lecture room should not expect himself to make it. A student will achieve academically if he concentrates and utilizes what he has read. Yet, for reading to be effective, it has to be planned, and unplanned reading is a wasted effort. Now, from today now, what you should do, you should make a plan, make a timetable, and put it in yourself that I will start reading. So at this juncture, if you have any question, you should jot it down. My colleague will now talk on information literacy and how you can utilize your gadget, your computer and your handset. Instead of abusing them, then how can you change it forward for reading?